Rise and shine, my friends. We have more big stories to break down today. Learn all the latest reports surrounding Marc Guehi and a potential summer move. We discuss the updates around Montpellier striker Wahi, and it seems like Armando Broja may be in advanced talks currently with West Ham based on Italian reports. So my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you guys watch my match review / 5 things we learned after our very impressive 5-0 win over Wrexham. Yes, the opposition doesn't mean anything, but my friends, it's deeper than that. It's about the way we're playing, the new things we're seeing, the focus on youth, and the exciting football that's currently on show too. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hit that like button. But before we get into things, today's video is brought to you by OneFootball. Now that our pre-season has officially kicked off, my friends, download OneFootball. It's the best app to have during pre-season, and you get all the latest up-to-date news during our US pre-season tour. As you guys can see on screen right now, we absolutely destroyed Wrexham 5-0 yesterday, and using OneFootball, you can get the statistical breakdown of the game. You can get all the times in which the goals were scored as well too. But focusing on the stats, we got around nearly 65% possession. We look quite strong in our aerial duels as well too. Of course, we had even shots, but our quality of our shots were way better than Wrexham's. And of course, we're seeing the tackles, we're seeing the distribution, and with this amount of passes, the creativity we saw from them. I mean, it's really exciting stuff. I feel like we play with a purpose now. We're not keeping possession for the sake of things. And I think this type of football suits the young team we have. So my friends, download OneFootball. You'll find a link below in the description and in the QR code on screen too. So let's start things off and let's discuss the latest updates around Marc Guehi. Now, as I was saying in that video discussing Fofana's terrible ACL injury, I said I wouldn't be surprised if he started to express some interest now in Marc Guehi, and unsurprisingly, many big UK reports are confirming this news, and they state that we are weighing up a move for Marc Guehi and we hold strong interest. Now currently, Marc is being dragged by Arsenal and Tottenham, and in my opinion, I feel like if either one of these clubs made a move, that could potentially force us to have to make a decision. Now there's an interesting debate around what we do for the centre-back situation now, because Fofana, even though he probably misses the entirety of next season, he is going to come back eventually. Badiashile is out, but he will return back probably in the next 1 to 2 months. And at this point in time, we have Cole, we have Chalobah, and we have Thiago Silva. And guys like Marc Guehi can also do a shift playing as a centre-back. So do we necessarily have to dip into the market right now, react really quickly, and make a move for Marc Guehi when we could strengthen other areas in the team? I mean, in the comments right now, share your thoughts and opinions. Where do you fall on this debate? Do you feel like we need to get a defender, either Guehi or someone else? Or do we maintain and utilize what we have at our current disposal? Now, as I was saying before in the previous video, there's 2 things that work in our favour over any potential move for Marc Guehi, and that's the fact that number 1, we have a sell-on clause attached to the deal in which we sold him to Crystal Palace, and for the second reason too, we have the right to match any bids that get made for Marc Guehi. So my thinking is, and I don't know if this necessarily is the case, so don't hold me to it right now, but could we maybe sign Marc for less money because we do have the sell-on clause attached in that deal that sold him? Couldn't we just discount the sell-on clause from our official bids? Is that making sense? Does that happen in football? You guys, if you have more expertise, of course, share your thoughts below in the comments. But right now, I feel like this is a very delicate situation. On one hand, I don't think we need to react too soon right now by rushing in. I feel like we could probably assess the situation as we get closer to the season, because I don't think it would be too difficult to negotiate. Currently, Crystal Palace want around £50 million to sell Marc Guehi. That's not crazy money. But on the other hand, could we then be just stacked with defenders? And ideally, Pochettino only wants to work with 4. Now, for me, I do think that you could probably persuade Marc to sign for us, because that boosts his chances now to play for England in the Euros. On top of that too, Thiago Silva won't be here forever. And based on what he actually said recently, it seems like he mainly stayed here because his family don't want to leave London. His kids are very happy here, they're very settled. And of course, what can you do if your family's settled, right? So I do think that there is some future-proofness now in the signing for Marc, because essentially then we have to do nothing for for next season, and we have our ready-made replacement, and of course Fofana can come back fitter and stronger for the 24-25 season. But I guess we'll watch this space. Could Trevor Chalobah get sold and decide, you know what, I want to get more first team opportunities elsewhere so I can boost my own hopes of representing England at the Euros? I feel like there's so many possibilities around this move right now. The best thing I can only say is let's continue to watch the space. But if other clubs start to make moves, could that force us to react and make a bid? Time will tell. Now, let's discuss a story that's been simmering now for the past 3 days, and it's getting bigger and bigger and stronger, and that's over our efforts to sign Montpellier wonderkid striker in Elye Wahi. Now, at 20 years old, the guy is scoring goals after goals consecutively season by season at Montpellier, and I think he's a very impressive talent and has a great skill set. So, based on all the latest reports coming out from France, we are looking to make a bid now of around £27.7 million plus add-ons on top. Now, our plan now for Wahi is to buy him and then loan him to Strasbourg for next season. However, French reports state that Wahi isn't that interested in making a move to Strasbourg. Now, this kid is a very popular guy. There's some light interest from clubs like Arsenal and Borussia Dortmund, but there's much stronger interest from Frankfurt and from Palace and Atletico Madrid as well too. Anyway, discussions will continue to take place over the following days. Do I necessarily blame Wahi for not being that interested in moving to Strasbourg? I mean, I have to say no. I mean, for a kid of his talent and potential, he'll feel to himself, I can compete against Jackson and Armando Broja, and for God's sake, my goals put my team 12th last season, 10 points ahead of Strasbourg. Still though, there is some optimism that a deal can be finalised. We have agreed personal terms with the player, but regardless, Wahi and his team, because these are like collective efforts, right? They're going to really assess whether it's the best career move to accept our proposal and then play under Patrick Vieira for Strasbourg next season. I mean, I understand why. For example, let's say hypothetically, Vieira is a massive flop with Strasbourg. He doesn't get these guys performing. And in a career where momentum is so important, if you miss just one season due to circumstances working against you for unforeseen reasons, that can have ramifications in the future. So I respect the fact that this kid respects his career, and it's not necessarily about glory and money. He wants to be able to make sure his development isn't going to be affected. So for us, it's simply this. We must really sell this project to Wahi to really show him, listen, you will have an opportunity for next season. At Strasbourg, we're currently doing big things with them. Now, of course, we own them and we are investing money into the club. Now, the transfer budgets between us and Strasbourg are two different things. However, the pool of money in which transfer budgets are actually sourced from, they do actually come from our holding companies. So in that sense, we have to be responsible with how we're spending. But it seems like we have big ambitions for Strasbourg, and I can see why they did business with us. Right now, they're getting access to some amazing young players. I mean, we saw Angelo Gabriel have an incredible second half against Wrexham last night. And reports are stating that once it turns August 1st, he is moving straight to Strasbourg for next season. Now, there'll be a conversation for me, do we keep this guy and let him play? Or do we see what he does at Strasbourg, where he can continue to get regular minutes week in, week out? That'll be interesting. But on top of that too, my friends, recently Strasbourg have signed the talented Ivorian 20-year-old centre-back in Abakasila from Club Brugge for around 20 million euros. He's like a tall, ball-playing, left-footed centre-back, and Strasbourg don't have that money to be splashing out 20 million on any player from anywhere. But it doesn't stop there. Right now, they're currently trying to sign Emmanuel Omega from Sturm Graz. He got 10 goals for them last season. Very tall, advanced forward style striker. Nigerian striker too. And right now, he could be the replacement for the exceptional Habib Diallo. So we're looking to help reinforce their team. And again, for the final bit of business they're doing, they've signed Ivorian wonderkid striker, what's his name? Patrick Utoro. 17 years old. He's been capped 4 times by the Ivory Coast already. He's scored 1 goal for them. So it does feel like we are putting our money where our mouths are, and we are looking to heavily invest in Strasbourg. So I do feel like there's an opportunity to persuade him, listen, we have your best interests here. But I guess this segment is very nicely now to the third story. And let's talk briefly about Armando Broja, because there are some interesting reports coming out from Italy. As we know, Broja hasn't travelled with the squads into our US tour. The club says the reason for this is that he is still rehabilitating from his injury. But one thing we heard about that prior was that Broja was already on like an accelerated path in terms of getting back to full fitness. He was showing signs earlier of recovery, and we saw this guy putting in a lot of work during pre-season. So it's a bit interesting that this is the main reason. It seems like Italian reports don't believe this, because they report that the real reason why Broja has remained is because currently he is having advanced talks with West Ham United. Now, it looks like there could be a bit of a merry-go-round going on. AS Roma need a replacement for Tammy Abraham, and they're currently looking at Gianluca Scamacca from West Ham. But for them to be able to sign him, West Ham needs to bring in a replacement first, and they have held long-term interest in Broja. Now, ideally, Broja prefers to remain in the capital, and he would be open to a move across London, playing for an ambitious West Ham team that are signing good players and come off last season winning the Europa Conference League. So it's still a very good career move. And I don't know, it's a weird one for me because the injuries really came at the wrong time for this guy. Like, I really wanted to see what he could do over like 10 games first. He hasn't got a full fair assessment right now, but as we're seeing with the plan this summer, anyone can get sold if the value is correct and if the price is right. So in that sense, would you guys rather be sold a Broja, knowing the fact that this could open up a pathway now for us to secure signing Wahi from Montpellier? Because we're looking to pay over around 30 million euros for this guy, and it surprises me that we would loan him straight away to Strasbourg after investing this amount of money into him. So, is that what the club are potentially thinking? Maybe. I do feel like Pochettino now wants to use like a box-to-box midfield player in his team, and I do feel like Gallagher now has some increased importance because he does complement playing this type of way. And right now, it seems like clubs are only valuing him around 25 million. So could you sell Broja for more money? You'd imagine you could. But let's see how the story plays out. It's a very big claims coming out from Italy, but normally, you know, there's no smoke without fire, right? So my friends, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. There's going to be another vid discussing that amazing game last night against Wrexham. I want to discuss Gabriel, Casede, and a few of these guys in more detail, so stay tuned for that. And on that note, I'm Elye FC, this is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.